starlight on my dreams. Jean, oh daring flying hero Jean, you always soar with eagle's Jean. Your universe was meant to be. Our hearts to every star. Where will we be? My darling, the place doesn't really matter. Just let me roll the galaxies with you. For our destiny is to find eternal peace and love in this beautiful universe. Beloved, together our fears will dissolve in a sea of stars as we approach infinity. Listen, and you hear the call coming from above. Don't be scared at all. Just trust in me, my love, my love. All day they are planting and harvesting too, but their hands stay clean, hydroponics a clue. In space they are farmers with celestial thoughts. Way up here they're called the astronauts. They came here for service, adventure and fun, and the plants grow strong in perpetual sun. They love every human, the haves and have-nots. They're proud to be the astronauts. Star Rock. Their music
Like shadows creeping through the trees, like native dancers on their knees, like old ships sailing stormy seas. You're haunting me. What is your mystery? What planet is your home? Is this really your galaxy? What night skies do you own? Whose arms do you embrace? Where is your secret love? What history do you trace? How is your like moonlight shining on a grave, like bubbles forming on a wave, like lasting loving that I crave. You're haunting me. You're haunting What does the future hold for me? Ancestry.
Ancestry.
Oh my Lord, I've got to know, from whose seeds do I grow? Where do my four winds blow? What is to be my destiny? And what's the answer to the why? What's up there beyond the sky? Will we know before we die what lies on the universal sea? Ancestry.
Ancestry. Ancestry.
Ancestry. There's so much more for us to know. Is outer space the place to grow? Amid the stars and moons that glow? Is this a door to all eternity? Discovering all we can and harness all the solar energy. And when we reach the farthest stars, let there be no more Star Wars. Build new life from here to Mars, a better place for all posterity. Oh yeah, ancestry. Humankind and fulfill the ancient prophecy. Oh, ancestry. Ascendencia. Les ancêtres. Senzo Genai. Ancestry. Journey
Jean, oh future visionary Jean, you gave me tears and laughter. Jean, you shine the starlight on my dreams. Jean, oh daring flying hero Jean, you always soar with eagles, Jean. Your universe was meant to be. Jean, great bird of my galaxy, you gave me wings and you set me free. You dreamed our spatial family. Jean, your boyish grin is deceiving, Jean. It isn't easy being Jean. I'm sure you know just what I mean. Showed us galaxies afar. You tied our hopes to every star. We're lucky you are who you are. Our loving, loving Jean. Jean.
Hello, we're visiting with the lovely and multi-talented Nichelle Nichols. She's just completed her new album, Out of This World, and has starred in all 6 Star Trek motion pictures. Tell me, Nichelle, what inspired you to write and perform a song about Gene Roddenberry?
Well, I wanted to have Gene on here because it's my tribute to Gene Roddenberry. And of course, he's our great bird of the galaxy. And the words really sort of say it all for me. He's a future visionary. He put me on in Star Trek in the 60s when I became a first, and he broke the mold, and he wanted a crew of people that represented all of us here on Earth. And
And so I became the person that broke the mold, not only as a woman, and not only because of my color, but it was in a position of a command crew. And as Dr. King said, the world sees us as we're supposed to be, on an equal basis, on equal terms. It may seem a little dated now to think of it because we sort of take that freedom for granted, but it was sort of special then.
Yes, there's no doubt that you had an incredible effect on our whole culture through Star Trek and, as you say, that phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
How did Star Trek 6 go?
6 is really great. I think it's going to add up and count up to be one of the best of the major motion picture series. I now talk about about the movies as being a series, but we've done 6 major motion pictures, and I think it's going to be one of the best.
Oh, very good. I hope you can do 79 motion pictures.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Are there any other movie-type projects that you would like to do in your career?
I'd like to do a lot of things. That's why I guess this album is very meaningful to me. I'm getting back to where I started in my singing. And this song, Uhura's Theme, was one of the first songs that Jim Meehan wrote for me when we started working together. And it really ties in that Uhura connection for me. And I really enjoyed doing it. Also, the next song, Beyond Antares, I sang in the series in one of the episodes. As a matter of fact, I sang it twice. And the 2 songs seem to have that nice tie-in with Star Trek, and comes from my heart. And so I hope you like it.
Very good. When did you first decide you wanted to be an entertainer and be a singer?
When I was born.
Instantly.
It's what I've always been. That's what I am. And I never knew anything other than that. Never wanted to be anything other than that. And there I am.
What are some of your most outstanding influences in your life?
The outstanding influences come from, about 14 ladies. My outstanding influences in my life, career-wise, you mean, singing-wise, music, are musical people. And that's a lovely lead-in to tell you about my one-woman show, Reflections. And I call it Reflections because it's my reflections of these 14 legendary women entertainers that were my beacons of excellence as I grew up and as I honed my craft to become the best of me. There were these wonderful people to aspire to their level of greatness, of excellence. And this I'm talking about Lena Horne and Ethel Waters and Pearl Bailey and Catherine Dunham, because I was a dancer as well. And I come from musical theater, so I was a singer, I was a dancer, I was an actor, I was a writer, you did it all. I grew up around the corner from Mahalia Jackson. When I was a little girl, my mother took me to see Josephine Baker. And some of my recording idols were Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald and Lena Horne and Sarah Vaughan and Leontine Price. And so I took all of these aspects of good music and we put them into a show. And then we went a step further because I didn't want to just imitate them. So I got Jim Meehan to write almost all the music as if he were writing for just that person, in that genre, in that style. And so every song in the show is an original. And people have heard it and have sworn that they heard their favorite artists sing that song. As a matter of fact, a gentleman came back. It was almost embarrassing. It was so funny. He said, I heard Mahalia Jackson sing Wanna Be Rich. That song, it is so, of course it is really a rousing song, you know. It's so good. I heard her sing it before she died, and of course she never sang it, you know, because it wasn't written. That, I think, is a testament to the quality of the music and my ability to bring the essence of those people out and through it.
And we've seen your tremendous influence on a whole new generation of performers. Just as those people influence you, you've influenced quite a few.
I'm very proud of that, too, yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you had had an influence on Whoopi Goldberg, right?
That was the most startling thing. When we were doing Star Trek V, I came to work one day, and I had been off for a couple of days, and everybody was saying, Nichelle, Whoopi Goldberg was by to see you, and of course she had just gone on the Next Generation. And Whoopi Goldberg, did you see Whoopi Goldberg? She was by to see it. She wants to see it. I'm going, yeah, sure. You know, Whoopi Goldberg wants to see me, sure. And so, because everybody on the set always jokes and makes, all you have to do is be away for one day, and you know you're going to be the butt end of the joke. When you get back, they've set it up for you. So I thought they had set this up. And sure enough, Whoopi asked to come over and meet me and got one of the studio people to bring her over and introduce me. And it was the beginning of a wonderful friendship. And that's when she told me that when she was a little girl, she turned on the television one day and it changed her life. There was Uhura. And she said, my God, there's a black lady in the future. We're there, man, in space. We're going to be there. And she said it was then she knew that she could make it because someone had done it and she was going to be what she wanted to be. And then she told me, she says, because I always wanted to be Uhura's daughter. And I just thought that was just so great. And that's why she asked to be on The Next Generation. You know, because she grew up wanting to be in Star Trek.
Marvelous. Are you a fan of science fiction in general?
I wasn't really. I considered if it was good writing and good literature, then I read science fiction, but I wasn't just into science fiction. I read Heinlein and Strindberg, you know. So if it's good, it stands out, and it has no label. But later, I think, and I think probably through Star Trek, I really began, because then you could see it. It's there for you to see the wonders of what can be done, because it's just a projection fictionally of what science could be if. And that, again, is the only thing that good writing is. Mm-hmm. Good plays, good scripts is a great what if. Mm-hmm. And so you just take what if we had the proper energy, the kind of energy that we could fly and we could go to other galaxies, not just other planets, but even chart other galaxies. Now, how do you get there? Well, you decide that you're going to get there, and then you've got to come back and extrapolate on how that would really happen, and that has been very exciting. Once you do that, what's the substance of going there? What will we find? And so we probably will find ourselves.
Really, it's very exciting. Mm-hmm. Tell me, Star Trek sort of led to your involvement in NASA. Can you tell us a little about that?
I became interested in the space program well after Star Trek was over. And first, NASA headquarters became aware of my interest. And then I began to visit the various space research centers and installations around the country, which there are 13. And then I started writing, and they would just roll out the red carpet for me and give me a, VIP tour. And I would write about it. And they started getting published, and I was served on the board of directors of the National Space Society. And I really got involved because it's sort of like Whoopi saying, we're going to be there. I suddenly just felt like I wanted to be involved in women and all people being involved in the space program, and to be visual and to fly in space and become astronauts. And in 78, when NASA had their next recruitment, which would be the first astronauts for the space shuttle program, they asked me to assist them in recruiting the first women and the first minority astronauts for that space shuttle program. And my outreach brought them 1,649 qualified applications from women and over 1,000 from minority and other ethnic people. And so they had a very successful recruitment, and that brought in our first women and minorities.
Isn't that great?
As a matter of fact, it was so successful they decided instead of 30 new astronauts, they had so many qualified people, they raised the astronaut recruitment limit to 40, so that they not only had one woman that they were hoping to get, they brought in 6 women.
Did they ever tell you how soon ordinary people might be able to venture on the space shuttle?
Well, of course, you know, we lost McCullough, who was the first teacher, and we had a congressman or senator, Jake Garn, who have gone up. And I want to go up. I want to go. I mean, I would go yesterday if they'd let me. If you're ordinary people before you go, you're certainly not ordinary once you've gone. I don't know anyone of all the astronauts whom I've met who have flown. None have come back the same. They've all had different experiences, but it has changed them in very unique and positive ways.
Yeah, I've always heard that the men that went to the moon as well, they were extremely changed when they came back. Right.
Exactly. It's a very ennobling, but it's also a very humbling experience.
Definitely. Mark, would you like to ask her that question about Martin Luther King?
Yeah, essentially, it had been established that you were going to probably give up the role of Uhura after the first season, until Martin Luther King had approached you and told you just how inspirational you really were to black people and, you know, women of that time who wanted so much to have a dream come true that they could be there. They could be a part of that.
It's amazing. It wasn't for any other reason except career choice. I had done the first year, and I thought, it's a very nice show, but quiet as it's kept, I'm not a communications officer. I'm an actor, and I wanted to do other roles, you know. And I didn't know how long this was going on and so forth. So I had pretty much made a decision that I was going to leave the show after the first year. And I felt that the role was not growing where I would have liked for it to go, albeit that Gene Roddenberry had really stuck his neck out in casting me in that role. But God bless him, he never let me know about it. I didn't find that out for 7 years after the show was canceled. But I had decided to leave the show, and by chance, I met Dr. King at a fundraiser, and he told me that I was one of the most important people in his family, that they watched Star Trek, and that I was a role model and their hero, you know. And so I said, well, I was very proud of that, and that was very nice. And then I told him I was leaving the show, and he said abruptly, "You cannot." And I said, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean, Dr. King, I cannot? And he said, you absolutely must not. He said, do you know that you have the first non-stereotypical role on television? You're first. This is not a female role. This is not a black role. This is a quality role. And this is an equal role. And it's in a command position. He told me all about my part, you know. And he said, and the manner, and it is a role of dignity, and the manner in which you have created this role, you have to carry on, because not only do little black children and do women see you and aspire, and do you have meaning for them, but everyone else sees us for the first time the way we're supposed to be, on an equal basis and a level of dignity and authority and with the highest of qualification.
Yes, well,
Very meaningful.
The Uhura character evidently has had, a good deal of groundbreaking status to it.
Yeah.
It also featured the first ever interracial kiss on television
Yes.
between you and William Shatner.
Yeah, that was so funny because by that time, I didn't think of it as the first interracial kiss. I just got the script and I said, oh, wow, great. Gonna get a little romance in here, And albeit that I read on it, it says, oh, yeah, we're being forced to do this. And it was originally written, now not many people know this, it was originally written between Uhura and Spock.
Ah.
And Bill Shatner said, oh, no. If anybody's going to get to kiss Nichelle, it's going to be me.
Well, Kirk always did get the
yeah,
girl.
good old Captain Kirk. And so they rewrote it. We laughed about it. And then we got to the day that, the great day. And all of a sudden there was this buzz around the studio. They were concerned how the South was going to take it,
Was there, in fact, any negative response
Yes,
from that?
we had more mail in that episode than any other episode in all of the time of Star Trek. I mean, the mail just poured in. They were all shivering, waiting to see, the response, this. And Gene sent me over a letter from the fan mail because they looked at it all before any of us got to see any, and he sent me this one letter and he says, this is the extent of the negative mail that we've received. And it was from a man in the South who said, I don't believe in the integration of the races.
Obviously it didn't make any difference to him.
And the fraternization of the races, he says, but anytime a red-blooded American boy like Captain Kirk gets a gal in his arms that looks like Lieutenant Uhura, he ain't gonna fight it. So much for the worries and the concerns about whether people can handle it. So I think we knew we were on the right track.
Would you have ever
But
wanted
it
to
did.
see Uhura get a love interest? I mean, a really serious...
Well, Uhura most assuredly had a love interest. If you notice in my album is Beyond Antares, and she dreams of, there's where my love is waiting, somewhere beyond Antares. And then in one of the episodes, if you'll recall, George Takei played Sulu, and Sulu, in a moment of gallantry, when they're really in a stew and the bad guys are after us, and he jumps in front of Uhura and grabs her into his arms, and with his sword he says, don't worry, fair maiden, I'll save you. And Uhura says, sorry, neither.
Which episode was that?
That was Naked Time.
I think that was Naked Time, yes.
And he got neck pinched after that for his troubles.
Yes.
Have you seen things change just from that influence?
Yeah, lots of things. As Dr. King said once again, he said, you are part of something that can never be changed again. You have opened a door that can never be closed. You have changed the face of television.
I'm amazed the way you describe him with his insight. He must have been a great man. What a shame to have lost him.
I think so too. And I felt, for one of the last times that I felt that we've lost, and certainly I have lost, a great leader. And I feel like I've lost a great friend as well, but I considered him as my leader. And I've not been able to say that very much. I felt that Kennedy was a great leader, and there have been very few great leaders. It's not only a great loss, it's a tragedy.
Mm-hmm. If Star Trek goes beyond number 6, do you want to continue as Uhura?
Oh, I suppose so. I guess I'll get back in there and open those hailing frequencies till I'm 90. Show those new young whippersnappers what it's all about. You did say 70. Oh, no, 7.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who knows? It could be 70.
Who knows?
They're going, but,
yes, I think it would be fun. Star Trek has interrupted my career this long. Why shouldn't it interrupt it another for
well, in
Star
all
Trek
fact, now
7?
I guess it is a career.
Yeah. I felt like, it was just a small moment in my career. It's become a whole career. I was on my way to Broadway. I was singing in Europe. I was in the theater all over. I had done several movies. I was getting into episodic television. I was, going to be Nichelle Nichols' star. And along came Star Trek, and interrupted that. And I thought, well, okay, I'll set it on hold while I do this little series, and then I'll go on and do the rest of the things that I want. And 25 years later, I'm having a ball. I had to tell you, I don't regret it at all.
With everything that you've been singing now,
Yeah.
it kind of plays off each other wonderfully.
Yes.
With songs
Yes.
like Gene and Beyond
Yes.
Antares and everything.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what were the exact mechanics of how you actually got the part in the very beginning?
Oh, I was in Europe singing, and I got a telegram from my agent saying, come home immediately, and they're doing Star Trek. And I refused to come home, and he called me and made me an offer I couldn't refuse. He sent me a first-class round-trip ticket, and with the proviso that if I got the part, if I didn't get the part, the ticket was on him, and if I did, he wanted his cotton-picking money back. And so I came and I got the part, and he got his cotton-picking money back. When I came back, when I came to read for the show, they had not written a part for the communications officer. And so I read for the part of Spock. And so I asked them, who was this woman Spock? And what was she like? And they said, no, you don't understand. It's already cast. And I said, oh, too bad. It's a nice role. Well, what was she like? And he's, well, no, you don't understand. It's not a she, it's a he, and he's not from this planet, and he's got green blood and pointed ears, I said, whoops. Then why am I reading this, And so anyway, I read the part. It was a nice long scene with Spock and Kirk and Bones. And so I read, and when I finished, they said, call down to personnel and see if Leonard Nimoy has signed his contract yet. And that's, that was their way of telling me I'd gotten
Wow,
it.
history would have been changed had that
Yeah,
happened,
yeah.
right? That's interesting.
Little brown pointed ears.
Well, thank you very much for visiting with us. We certainly enjoyed this glimpse into your life and your history, and we wish you many happy returns in the future, and we're sure that you'll go on to new heights in entertainment.
Thank you.